Woo! You already know the chime gods are here. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. It's your boy GA, live from the Hollywood Hills. Let's see everybody get up on here. Got another live stream for you today. Back at it. Our live stream series. What's poppin'? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? What's good? What's good? What's good? We got some cool people coming in here. What's good, tribe? I love it. I love it. New week, new goals. How y'all feeling? Drop an emoji. How you feel right now? Oh man, it's been crazy, but I just feel so refreshed today, and just feel so grateful, so blessed. Let me know what you're grateful for. Drop what you're grateful for. I got a really special live for you. Just this whole week, we got back-to-back super powerful leaders. Today we're going to bring on Brandon Collinsworth. He is a master yoga teacher. He is one of the, I believe, if not the elite human performance coach in the world for millennials. This guy is so tapped in from a mind, body, and spirit perspective. I cannot wait for you to meet him. He is the founder of Warrior, which you guys should all know. If you don't know, I take a spiritual retreat every single year, December, for my birthday. Costa Rica was with ayahuasca, and it was beautiful. Last year I went to Peru, which is the rite of passage through Warrior, and I think it's one of the greatest, I would say, retreats in the world for a rite of passage, and through with leadership, and completely out of the country in a place like Peru that's so spiritual. So we're gonna get on. We're gonna talk about Warrior. He launched a couple things. He's working on a couple fire things. So we're gonna bring him on here. So what's good? Where's everybody coming in from? My connection's back. So I'm gonna bring Brandon on. Let's bring him on here real quick. Prepare your questions for someone who is an elite master. I look at him like a chief. You can join with us right now, and let's get to it.
Yo.
Oh. There we go. Brandon.
How we doing?
Man.
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm good. Yo, thank you so much, man. Jumping on. It's just I see you're on the move as always. Yeah, bro. So everybody, absolutely. This is one of my brothers. I mean, he's one of the best leaders that I know of our generation. Like I mentioned to you, Brandon, I just got to start off, bro, with just saying, I know you know this. We talk regularly. You are someone that I admire so much. It's always teaching me, leveling me up. We have such a beautiful dynamic. But, bro, thank you so much for the work that you do in the world, for who you be, man, for who you are as a leader. Just going on that retreat over 2 weeks with you in Peru, from the jungles all the way in the Amazon, all the way to Machu Picchu, all the way to Sacred Valley, all the way up the mountains to Rainbow Mountain, 17,000 feet above sea level, working with orphanages. I think, guys, you go on one retreat and you may do, maybe if you're lucky, you get to work with some kids, right? Maybe you get to go to a children's hospital or orphanage. My man Brandon takes us to not one, not two, not three, 4 damn children's hospitals and orphanages all throughout Peru with bags of toys for these kids. I don't know if you guys saw my Insta story this Saturday, but some of my pictures were from that trip. It was one of the most cherished moments and memories that I'll have for the rest of my life. You guys need to definitely learn about Warrior retreats. You need to go to Peru. Bro, I didn't realize how beautiful Peru is, man. Like, wow, it was like the most beautiful place in the world that I've ever been. So, Brandon, why don't you just start off with like your background? Why do you have so much reverence for the land of Peru, and what actually caused you to start your mission through Warrior?
Absolutely. First and foremost, G, thank you so much for being my brother. Thank you so much for walking the path you walk. Thank you so much for holding such epic space for people to step into their power. We're at these times right now where we need fearless leadership. We need courageous leadership. And more importantly, we need heart-centric leadership. And so the fact that you're leading with the heart and you're trailblazing in this space of amplifying leaders forward, it's super powerful. And I'm so blessed and fortunate that God has, you know, brought us together and we've crossed paths, because, you know, when you have two intentional conscious leaders come together, 1 + 1 = 3, it becomes exponential. And, you know, as we continue to grow the tribe, it just is going to add to the potency and power that we stand for on an everyday basis. So thank you, brother. I love you.
Oh yeah, you already know. Like, you know, this is the beauty about, you know, leadership today is like, you know, it's not about doing it alone, man. It's about tribe. You know, it's about unity. It's about true support and empowerment. You know, it's about the mudita mindset, right? You know, and celebrating each other's success. You know, so that's what it is, bro. Like 100%, I got your back, man. That's what we need right now. Like our generation. Oof, I can go off right now, but I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold it for a second. I'm gonna hold it. Tell me why you love. What's the reverence with Peru?
Yeah.
What does that land mean to you, and how did you get this idea for Warrior?
So, you know, it's wild. A lot of people who more so now than before, but I speak more about my past of growing up in the streets of Las Vegas and like making a decision when I was 18 years old to transcend it. At that time I was homeless. I was a high school dropout. I was broke. I was broken. I was depressed. And I just had this aha moment where it was like, it's time to change some things. So I made a decision, became a voracious reader. That reader took me from being, you know, literally like almost illiterate to eventually going to the Ivy Leagues and getting my master's degree. Well, it was on this journey of academia. And at this time, I'd never met my father. Didn't even know who he was. Grew up in the projects, single mom, had no idea who my father was. You know, I guess they say that when you follow your truth, when you follow your dharma, God gets involved. And the lessons are always potent and profound. So I was in my senior year at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And this African-American film history teacher told me he was doing a documentary at Valley High School. Valley High School is a local high school in Las Vegas. And all I remembered when I was little is my mom told me she met my dad at Valley High School. I looked at him, I said, I think my parents met there. He looked at me like with the strangest look, and he was like, is your dad named Lane Rowley? That was my father's name. Long story short, his big brother was my dad's best friend. He called his big brother that night. His big brother called my dad. My dad called me for the first time I've ever talked to him in my life. I was 27 years old. And come to find out, he was living in the Amazon jungle of Peru for the last 14 years.
Crazy.
Studying infectious disease. And because I was on my path at that moment and I was doing my work and I was leaning into forgiveness, I had an option. I could be a victim, be bitter, say, you know what? I'm never talking to you again. I don't need to deal with you. I don't need to open my doors and try this relationship out. Or I could say, you know what? I forgive you. I see you. Let's see what's possible. And so later that year, I took a plane down to Peru, and Peru became one of my biggest teachers. This was in 2009. And slowly but surely, as I started healing myself through the people of Peru, through the lands of Peru, through the culture of Peru, I realized that Peru had opened its doors to me. And in that space of becoming a healer myself, of becoming healed and becoming a leader, I then wanted to start sharing it with other people. But I didn't want to do it in a way that took advantage, that didn't pay respect to Pachamama. You know, so many people go to these spaces of Bali and Sedona and Peru and Africa, and they take and they take and they take and they don't give.
So true. It's almost like why we're going through what we're going through now, right?
Exactly.
Because we've taken it all for granted, the land, right?
Exactly. So being down there, I started learning, like, the more I gave, the more it unlocked. And all of a sudden, I started learning that mastery had nothing to do with, you know, bank accounts or social status. Mastery, real mastery, is sometimes elusive, and the access point is merely heart. And once I started leaning into heart and serving selflessly, embodying what Jay-Z says, you know, the purest form of giving is anonymous to anonymous. Because when you're down there, language barrier, you're not going to know who it is. But if you show up correct, you show up with heart, you show up with a smile, doors start opening. And that's what started happening. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, Peru gifted me the place and the space to hold and host leaders in the most impeccable way. Like Peru held. Because I feel like if I, for 1 second, disrespected, she'll close the doors. But this is why for the last 5 years, you know, we've had over 100 leaders come down to Peru to truly tap into a higher level of expression and inevitably a higher level of heart. And you know, there's retreats all over the world, but you don't hear about retreats, once again, as you mentioned, going to 4 hospitals, you know, infusing money, building lodges, saving lives. And a big testament to that is what my father taught me. You know, I got to give it up for him. This new father, this newfound relationship, 17 years, he made a name for himself in the jungles. They call him Dr. Chocolate, or the Fanta doctor, because he started doing surgeries for people that didn't have money. All they had to do was offer him a 2-liter of Fanta soda, and he would do surgeries for the villages. And in doing that,
wow,
he transcended language, and he rooted in a currency that transcended it all. And I've always taken that with me. So big ups to him, big ups to Peru, and big ups to the tribe that continues to come down there and allow me to share one of the most special places in the world.
Thank you, brother, for listening, man. Like, we all have this, like, I think we all get this gift, man, this purpose that God gives us. And if we listen carefully, it's unbelievable that even though we're going to this like world of uncertainty, and now more than ever before, people have this opportunity to really uncover that gift, but then just step into that. And bro, I can only imagine what it's been like for you to build this over the last 5 years. And it's still just scratching the surface. It reminds me of Leaders Create Leaders, you know, and it's beautiful, bro. And I honor you for what you're doing. One of the things that I want to talk to you about, because I look at you like, you know, one of the things that called me to go into Peru to work with you, bro, was like you talk about mastery, right? Like, but you don't just talk about it, you actually live it, right? In the most humble way, you master, you know, truly what I would call the Trinity, right? Like the full mind, body, spirit, all of that. And I was at a point in my life last year where I was looking to truly become a master, really self-mastery for myself. And I felt like you, for this generation, you represented that, and you were doing it at the highest level, taking people all the way to Peru and taking us. I mean, we were working with Mother Teresa's home, all those children in hospitals. A lot of what I'm teaching and what I'm, you know, as I'm building out Leaders Create Leaders, is that leadership right now, more than ever before, is so important. But really, it's about understanding the old principles, things that have already been written, and then taking that old philosophy, those old foundations that have already been written in the scriptures, right? Like today's even a Holy Week, thinking about Jesus, and bringing that forward into a new modern world. And that this is the most important decade of humanity, probably humanity, and our generation has this opportunity to truly step up as leaders. So I just want to know from you, who are some of the great, like, who are the leaders that you have really been studying to really get you inspired about mastery, and like share some of the lessons that have helped you along your way, you know, overcoming adversity.
Absolutely. First, I just want to acknowledge what you said about us taking the ancient wisdom, infusing it into the modern sense. Yeah. It's very tribal in nature, right? Like if we were all back in the state of being in tribes, we'd have uncles and great grandpas and great grandpas passing down wisdom to us, but we're kind of disconnected in this Western sense. Yes. But we also have the opportunity to, 1, create our own tribe, and 2, dive into the well of many different lineages and infuse all those wisdoms into us right now. That's why these times are so transformative, because we have access to all the ancient wisdom at the touch of a button. And at the same time, you know, the double-edged sword is that we can also get lost in the sauce that our minds are taken over by some other thing. So it's so important to be intentional right now and infuse the ancient with the modern innovation. And that's how we truly unlock our superpowers. When it comes to who I look up to, I call them my spiritual OG mentors. So in the morning time when I'm meditating, I look up. On my left is Muhammad Ali. In front of me is Bruce Lee. We got Frederick Douglass. We got Mother Teresa. You know what I mean? We got John Lennon, Malcolm X. It's the people for me that stood for something, but not only stood for something, they were willing to die for something. And that something is love. At the end of the day, they died for love. They died for people. They died for humanity, and they died to up-level the whole. Muhammad Ali, what I love about Muhammad Ali, 1, because he's still pretty touchable because he just recently passed away. But we have here the heavyweight champion of the world. And he's so committed to God at a time when it wasn't okay for some guy to say, hey, I'm Islamic, I'm committed to God. He was so committed to God that he was able to transcend the conditions of this world and immortalize himself into greatness. And he always said, you know, service to others is the rent we pay for our time here on earth. So if a man who is literally the heavyweight champion of the world, the most powerful dude in the world, could say, you know what, it ain't even about me, it's about others. Yeah. What an example. And he did that before there was social media and before there was all these, like, you know, popularity mediums. He was standing for that. He gave up his heavyweight title because he didn't want to go fight in Vietnam. He gave up all his money. He went broke for a principle. And it's people like that who really light me up. It's people who stand for principles and stand for people no matter what. And I think one of the things that this day and age, one of the drawbacks and the setbacks of this day and age is it's too easy to compromise, especially for leaders. And oftentimes, the more successful people get, the more they isolate themselves in ivory towers, the less connected they are with the people. But when you think about people, when you think about people who leave legacies, when you think about Martin standing there in 1964, you know, and saying, I have a dream, and being able to get, and being willing to get assassinated for a dream and for a people, that's when leadership takes another level. And that's what we need this day and age. A lot of these leaders out here are soft serve, like Dairy Queen, man, like a McFlurry from McDonald's. We need more. We need more leaders that are like rock solid, and slowly but surely, I'm surrounding myself with more leaders that march in those directions. And I can only hope that we, when it's all said and done, we make the leaders such as Martin Luther King and Gandhi and Nelson Mandela proud, because they laid it down for us. You know what I mean? Just like, you know, you told me so much about how much your parents have laid it down and how much my parents have laid it down. We got to make them proud by standing for something that's bigger than us.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have the ability to change and just evolve and leave such a legacy for our family, you know, and more so for humanity, right? Like I used to just, you know, for me, it was always like, I remember the saying, I was like, I don't hustle for my first name, I hustle for my last. I think that may be a Jay-Z quote as well. But, you know, now it's like, I'm really hustling for humanity, right? Like it's, you know, we need those kind of leaders. And how cool is it that we have that ability? This next generation, right? Like, how are we going to be remembered? And each and every one of you that are watching this right now, I know there's someone right now that's watching this, that you feel that calling deep down inside to truly lead. So Brandon, what do you feel makes a great leader? Like, what are the characteristics that you've had to build up in your life that you think someone should really sit with themselves and start to think about how they can start inheriting those characteristics?
Absolutely. One quote that resonates with me deeply is, it's not how we stand with the great, it's how we sit with the broken. And one thing I've seen with a lot of leaders is they're able to sit with the people who are considered quote unquote insignificant and find just as much significance and love in those spaces. The second thing I see from leaders that I admire is that they lead from the front. Leonidas in 300, he led the charge. He walked the walk, he talked the talk. He went through his own personal battles. He mastered himself, and inevitably he became immortalized as this Spartan leader that, you know, redefined history. What was beautiful though about Leonidas, and a lot of people miss this aspect when they watch the movie 300, is that when he, at the end of the movie, when he finally died, you know, he didn't scream up to the sky, Wu-Tang or G-Unit. He said, my wife, my love, my queen, symbolizing heart. And so the third element, the most important element for me for leadership, is leading from the heart. It's only in the heart where we unlock every aspect of ourselves. It's only in the heart that it becomes the fuel of our power. And in, you know, Sanskrit, when we talk about the heart is the great connector of the lower and higher. So you have those bottom three chakras that are more primal in sense, and you have these higher three chakras that are more about being, you know, innovative and enlightened and esoteric. But without the heart connecting it all, you're lost. The heart is the great connector of the lower and the higher, and inevitably it allows for one to be a great leader. And those three things in motion, man, I feel like if a person embodies those, they're going to be able to lead people exactly in a way that not only up levels the people they're leading, but also up levels humanity as a whole.
Yeah, I love that, bro. I love that. So I want to take some questions. In the meantime, Brandon, I know you just launched something super stoked, man. I just joined it today. And it was about writing a commitment letter today. I did my movement until I sweat. I did 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups. And, you know, really, like, I was just thinking about this challenge that you created that we were talking about, and now it's coming to fruition. You've manifested it. I love it. So what's the Warrior 30-Day Challenge? And honestly, anyone who's watching this, I highly recommend that you take advantage of this, because this man, I tell you, yo, when he leads something, it is all in. He has a saying. He says, all in on all in. That was it. And he had another saying when we were in Peru. It was like, yo, day one. Right, for the next 30 days, every day, day one, all in on all in. You're gonna level up. You're so many different aspects. But talk to everybody about what this challenge is.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate you all. Hey, thank you so much, everybody. I thought I lost you for a sec. I appreciate you all. I see you. I feel you. Powerful times we live in. And it's in times like this where two things happen. People expand into all that they are, expand into greatness, expand into a new level of love, expand into a new level of leadership, or they shrink. And we see a lot of shrinking going on. And these times for leaders, or those who have been cultivating their tools, these are the times we've been waiting for, because we want to lead and we want to go hard and we want to see humanity up level. And I'm so excited about these times, but I know a lot of people are struggling. You know, I've been on the road for the last 4 years studying in Bali and India and Peru, and I'm finally back in the States, and I just feel the vibration. So my heart spoke to me and it told me it was time to share. And I know a lot of people don't have the monetary means to share, so I wanted to create something that was accessible to all. Doesn't matter what you got in the bank account, as long as you got willingness and heart, you can be a part of this. So I created the Warrior 30 Challenge. And the Warrior 30 Challenge is essentially a boost, a amplifier of potential. It's basically for 30 days becoming very intentional. I promise you, you know, Jay-Z, again, he said, difficult takes a day, impossible takes a week. What I derive from that is that when one's intentional, in one day, just like in Peru, G, in one day, it felt like we had 1 year of growth. 1 day of intention, 1 day of focus, you can unlock so many things. 30 days, you can unlock a lifetime of things. And you wrap yourself in a tribe, it's unimaginable what you can accomplish. So the Warrior 30 Challenge is 30 days. It revolves around 5 pillars. Mindset. Under the mindset, every day it's 3 blessings. You're writing down 3 things you're grateful for. Empirical studies show that if you tap into that frequency of gratitude, you'll exponentially be more happy over time. So every day, 3 things you're grateful for. The second is movement. Movement is energy. Energy in motion with intention is magic. So it's about moving and sweating. Yoga, mindset, or yoga, Pilates, whatever your thing is, martial arts, every day moving. The third one is meditation. Meditation is all about presence. It's all about tapping into our God essence, our God nature, ancient technologies, our ancient system to harness the technology that we are, which is supersonic, high frequency spaceships that there is no price on. We are truly superhuman, but most of us don't know how to operate these machines that we are. So meditation. The fourth is mastery. Every day for the next 30 days, I'm introducing a new master lesson to help you further understand the magic that you are. And I'm honored because Gerard is going to be leading something on day number 7.
Day 7, baby.
I'll let him tell you a little bit more about that.
They better be ready for it. It's a very important leadership lesson that I share with all the leaders that I work with. It's going to change your life, not just your business, but it's just going to change really just everybody that's in your circle of influence in the way that you show up. So day 7, be ready for that, man. I'm grateful. Thank you for including me, man. Guys, make sure you're ready and prepared for that. I'm going to take some questions real quick, Brandon, and then we'll tell everybody how to be prepared for Warrior.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we got a question here from the Art of Enduring. He said, what virtues would you consider the most important to being a conscious leader, and how do you implement them in your work to create a lasting impact?
Absolutely.
Virtues.
I think the most important virtues, that's powerful. I put virtues in the same vein as values or non-negotiables. And for me, it's integrity, unshakable integrity. Integrity is what you stand for at all times. Integrity is who you are when things get tough. A lot of people, when things get tough, they fold. Leaders, they hold. Some fold, leaders hold. So integrity is one of the things that I stand for. The second thing is selfless service, service over self. You know, eventually what I've learned on my path is it becomes not about me anymore. It's not about us. Yes, it is about us to a point. You got to like harness your tools. You got to take care of yourself. But then eventually you have to make it about others, embodying the Maya Angelou quote where she said, people are going to forget what you did. People are going to forget what you said. People are going to forget how much money you made. People are going to forget who you are, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And so it's our job to make them feel love. And through service, we can do that.
Yeah, I love that. We got John who threw in something, Brandon, that says, how do you stay true to your why when the going gets tough? And man, this is something I know you've been through a lot, bro, over this past 4 years, right? So I know you know, one of the things that I'm so grateful for is resilience, how I've been able to kind of stay resilient through all the tough times. Being an entrepreneur for 18 years, shout out to all my entrepreneurs that are on the live. You all know the roller coaster, the ups, the downs, you know, the moments of hitting rock bottom, the moments of getting back up, the moments of just not giving up, right? Continuing to push forward in the face of adversity. Brandon, you've known this more than ever before. How do you continue to tap in when times get tough and remember your why and push through?
Absolutely. You know, resiliency, grit, it's like a muscle. And we could say it's like a video game going, you know, this life is like a video game. And when you first start out, it sometimes is hard. You might fall, you might fail, you might mess up, you might not be able to hold that frequency. But as long as you keep showing up and you keep coming back and you keep trying your best, the more and more concrete that muscle of resiliency, of staying true to your why becomes. It takes time, it takes resolve, it takes grit, and it takes perseverance. But eventually you grow into it and then it becomes second nature. The why is so important though. You know, your why is essentially the intention. And if your intention is not rooted, you're not going to be able to harness your energy and find your center in a way that allows you to bring your highest expression to life. So once you know your why, double down on your why, but then give yourself the space and grace to be human long enough for you to strengthen that resolve with your why. Great question. Thank you, brother.
So I love it, bro. Anyone else have any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to just kind of go into it with you, Brandon. You know, let me see if there's anything else that came in. Well, what's on your, oh man, we got some of the Warrior Tribe I see in here, which I love. I see Larita's up in here, Vitali's up in here, some of the Warrior Tribe, some of the Leaders Tribe. I'm trying to feel like what is something that, you know, that I feel that right now is really, really important. I mean, especially for all those that are stuck in quarantine. I know the one thing that I've seen, bro, is that like no matter what, the work is never done, and really being humble enough, even in moments and times like this, to tap in, to realize that like everything that's happening, even if you can't see it, is for you. And even for me, man, I've been doing the work to like figure out where are the areas in my life where I should be finding even more discipline, you know, and where I can really, really just like figure out where are those shadows that are still creeping up on me that I may not have seen from, and where, you know what I mean, that I can still work on and heal. And, you know, the big thing for me, Brandon, also is like right now more than ever before, I'm focusing on community. And I think more than ever before, you know, beyond just business, there's a lot of people out here that, you know, are still thriving with their business. But the number one thing that I realized what's so important for me and with Leaders Create Leaders is community. So what would you say for someone out there that's feeling, because we all have been there, is feeling alone, is lacking that sense of community? And how have you been able to cultivate that? You said earlier that you kind of have been creating this proximity of leaders in your life.
Yeah.
So how have you, you know, really activated that?
Absolutely. I was a lone wolf for a long time. I had a lot of wounds growing up in the streets. And, you know, once I got successful, those wounds were re-triggered again when I lost a couple. There we go. It was, there you go, G. Lost you for a second. For me, it's been.
Yes, not bad.
All good, all good. For me,
I'm
I
plugging in my
realized the
charger.
importance. I realized like I could only do so much alone. And then, you know, God bless my ex, man. She really instilled the notion that no man is an island. Like, we're connection creatures. Being in isolation actually is the de-amplifier of human potential. You know, if you don't touch an infant long enough, the infant will die. And we're already in a culture, you know, this individualistic culture that is the USA. We're already in a culture where we're separated. You know, you go to Bali, me and G were just in Bali, and everybody's tribed up. All the villages are all together. There's family units. Somebody's hurt, everybody's hurt. But in the USA, we're told to isolate. And now we're told to isolate even more. And so more than ever right now, we got to lean into tribe. We got to lean into connection. We got to lean into people. And you just got to be vulnerable enough to know that the right people are going to love you and show up authentic. And if you show up authentic, the right people are going to love you and the wrong people are going to leave you. And that's what you need. You don't want anybody in your life who ain't for you. And endearing. And so more than ever the last couple of years, I've just been trying to like lean into tribe and just like really allow myself to be wrapped in love, because there's so much love to be given. And the more I show up that way, the more I'm wrapped in. It's so important once again. And I think that's just a testament to, like, as a man, leading more into my heart rather than my head.
Yeah. I see Andrea, and I'll work out. I see a couple people. I know Laura just asked a question. We got a couple more questions here. Andrea asked, should you be a master or an expert before you share your message and gifts with the world? What are your thoughts on that, Brandon?
I think that we are born masters. We come fully equipped. As is, we already are miraculousness. Like, they still don't know how to create even one fraction of the human expression. And when you think about it in those terms, like, there never has been, never will be in the history of the world another you or another me. Then instead of looking at you and saying, oh, that's just another dude, that's just another human, I can look at you in awe and be like, oh my God, that is beauty right there. That is mastery right there. That is something so novel and so incredible. And what these tools, these ancient teachings teach us is just to get caught back up in our own miraculousness. And it's when we get caught back up in our own miraculousness that the mastery just unfolds. It just comes. And then, as I was talking to our brother James Silvers recently, mastery defines mastery. Mastery defines mastery. And that's kind of twofold. The pursuit of mastery is going to define itself. For example, Pablo Picasso, I went to his museum in Barcelona, you know, sending all our love to Spain right now. Ten years later, it became beauty. And I think he won his first art award. And then 20 years later, it became super abstract and weird. And then 50 years later, it became genius again in its simplicity. Mastery defines mastery, but he was willing to start with this janky stick figure that inevitably led to him unlocking all going to define your mastery. It's going to give it a label. It's going to say, Gerard, you're this, or Picasso, you're this, or Ali, you're this, or Brandon, you're this.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. And I would say embrace the journey. Like it's really just about being vulnerable to open up about where you're at. Take people on that journey with you. Just share your truth. That's really
absolutely
I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned ultimately. Get back to the foundations and to the initial philosophy, principles, fundamentals of things. So I would tell you, just share your truth. Get comfortable sharing your absolute unconditional truth. Not worrying about what other people's opinions are going to be, who's going to judge you, what's right or wrong, being embarrassed, feeling like you made messenger, like, so you never know who you're going to inspire. I mean, I wish I started sharing more of my story. I lived feeling like I needed to be behind the scenes for the first 12 years of my career. I look back I see like a lot of these rappers that be dropping documentaries about their career, like growing up, like G-Eazy dropped a documentary. I was like, man, the videos that he had documenting, showing people the process into his mastery was so amazing. So I'm like, more people need to just embrace their journey and just truly share your truth, share your journey. Like, even if you're still mastering you and your gift and your purpose, share that, because what I've learned is like having that courage to open up about your message and share. I look at storytelling, for instance, as a modality. The more that you do that, the more you are going to become a master at it. It takes practice. To become a great teacher, you have to teach. So it's really just in that practice. So I would tell you, just share from the heart. Thanks, Andrea, for the question. Lorita asked, how would you describe conscious leadership when no one is looking, behind the scenes, in between? Frozen. I think, I don't know if you guys can hear me all right. Give me a thumbs up. I would say, for me, conscious leadership is directly correlated to truly with the intention to uplift. What are you going to get from this? Or, it's about truly doing it regardless of who's looking. It's because at the core, that's who you are, right? You're doing it completely out of integrity. And yeah, I think that's what it is. It's doing it with the awareness that regardless of what you get in return, it's more about being of service. It's more about being heart-led. It's more about, empowering someone. It's about embracing what it means to even be aligned to truth and aligned to love and aligned to, compassion. And that's aligned to strength and to hope and to all these things. And like, yeah, I truly believe that's what we need. That's what we need in businesses right now more than ever before. Is we need leaders that really embrace both sides, the masculine and the feminine, have the strength, have the power, but at the same time have the have the empathy, have the compassion, have the awareness of what's actually going on in the world, and want to do it and genuinely make an impact in the world, rather than just just make money, right? And I think that's where I think a book that everybody can read is called The Second Mountain. Because a lot of leaders, they go through the first mountain, like myself. You make millions of dollars, then to eventually realize like that's not everything, right? and you start thinking about how you can actually make a difference in the world, how you actually can really make an impact. And the best part is that you can have both. It doesn't have to be one or another. You could be a great human being, leaving a legacy, making an impact, doing things that bring you fulfillment, and still create wealth and prosperity. So let's see, Brandon. Let's see if Brandon's going to come back. He fell off for a second here. Let's take a couple more questions. I know a lot of you have been on for a minute here. Probably have another maybe 5-10 minutes. There you go. There you go. You're back, B. So B, I just answered a question, but how would you define conscious leadership?
It's a great. Heart-centric leadership is everything. Once again, every person that has left a legacy, heart was there. That was leadership. Courage is multifaceted. It takes courage to, trailblaze. It takes courage to innovate. It takes courage to step into the unknown. It takes courage to stay rooted in the heart when everything says, yo, switch up and do something different. And such and heart are the most important things for a leader to, hold space in an epic way.
Yeah, and I think conscious leaders, they definitely have a discipline. They really have the discipline, and it's this unwavering discipline that no matter what hits you, even in times right now of chaos and crisis and storms, they stand true, devoted to their mission, and they continue to make their decisions and lead their team, lead their community, lead their customers, lead their tribe based on the principles, the founding principles and values of what their mission really stands for. For leaders create leaders, right? Trust, transparency, responsibility, tribe. Those are my core values. No matter what, I don't waver from those. Those are my non-negotiable. Those are my boundaries. So for me to be a conscious leader, and for you to be a conscious leader, you need to know those core values. You need to know your foundation. You need to know your clear values, and you have to embody them. I know a lot of CEOs that literally put their core values together, but they don't actually define them. So they don't. So people who are their customers or their team or their employees, they don't really know how to actually embody what that definition is of that. I appreciate you so much for jumping on. This was crazy valuable. How can someone get involved right now with Warrior? Like get involved with the 30-day challenge?
Yeah, if you want to get involved with the 30-day challenge.
Let's go.
I'm just honored to be in service mode. I'm honored to share the gifts. I'm honored to up level. Reach one, teach one. I always say that if I could just touch one person's life and change one person's life, that's enough. And that's how I'm trying to approach this. You know what I mean? This is my opportunity, one of my opportunities to be in a space of service. And I just want all y'all to know that, like, the true masters in this world that I've met, Gerard had the opportunity to meet Wolf in the jungles and some of the masters in Peru, and there's no hierarchy. My master teacher, Mark Whitwell, who's also going to be doing one of the master classes, he always says that a true teacher is no more than a friend, no less than a friend. It's on the same playing field. The problem is a lot of, leaders, man, they start to get so up in their egos that they can't be with the people. So I'm just excited to be with y'all, share with you all. And the fifth challenge actually of the every day be present and pay it forward, spread the love, and challenge that person to spread the love, because that's how the ripple works. And the ripple of energy, the ripple of love is what's going to heal this world. Now more than ever, we gotta lean into the ripple. We gotta lean into love, and this is just my way of doing it. So I'm excited, and I'm honored, and I'm humbled. I'm a humble student, and thank you for having me on your your platform. And two, thank you everybody for taking the time out of your day just to hear and to listen and know that you matter and that you're special, and that me and G both are committed to being the best we can be, and also helping you all be the best you can be.
100%. Committed to the day I die, you know, to help you to become the leader that you were born to be. Brandon, I'm committed to you. I'm devoted to Warrior. I'm devoted to your work. I'll always have your back, man. And I'm enjoy the rest of your. It's a holy week, man. So just tap into that Christ consciousness, man. Type into that power of Jesus. And I love you, bro. Stay blessed. I'll talk to you later, and I'll see you day 1 tomorrow, Warrior 30. All right, guys.
Love you, G.
Go
Peace.
show some love to Brandon. Go follow him. Go show him some love. Thank you, brother. And
thank you, brother.
I appreciate you guys for jumping on here. So this week is a really powerful week for all of you. Tomorrow is a full moon. I have a really powerful, dope ass conscious leader who does all of my sound healings and breath work. I worked with him for a while now at all of my mastermind events at Leaders Create Leaders. His name's Avery Moore. You may have witnessed him at one of my virtual summits or events. He's going to come on here. We're going to have a full moon ceremony. And then Wednesday, I have a really, really powerful business leader, Patrick Brett David, who's got over 2 million subscribers on YouTube. But more importantly, his business is just, you know, done insane amounts of revenue. And he's interviewed some of the greatest leaders of in history. Like, this guy is unbelievable. He's definitely my favorite YouTube channel. It inspires me with our show, Leaders Create Leaders. And he's just a humble, you know, person who just comes from humble beginnings and is absolutely just completely just succeeded on every level as a father, as a leader in his business, as a CEO, and as a thought leader, everything that, you know, I really take pride in. So be ready for that on Wednesday at 2:30 PST. Also, guys, make sure that you're on my email list. Make sure you're on the SMS list. I'm sending out updates on a daily basis. So just go to gerardadams.com or text me 201-897-6439 and just text me LFG. Send out my daily affirmations every day. Until tomorrow, guys, peace out. Have an amazing evening. New week. So it's a new beginning for you. Tap in. Peace.